For this video, I'm going to teach you some extra stuff that you don't necessarily need to know for this course, but I think will help you when you're using Revit. So we're going to make a couple extra kind of some interior design details in this model that you may want to include, or these might give you ideas for things you want to do in your model. So I'm going to start with my working floor plan that we created because I'm going to start editing in the model. And one of the things I want to create is in the master bedroom, maybe I want a coffered ceiling. So I want a tray ceiling to pop up. So let's go to our ceiling plan. And let's try to select the ceiling. Right now, the room symbol is in the way. So let's come down here and click this button that says select by face. Then we'll just grab the entire ceiling. And then I'm going to hit the edit boundary. So that's the whole ceiling is one level, but we want to poke a hole in the bedroom. So let's draw a rectangle, and then let's just put it 2 feet away from the wall, all the way around. Let's do that. So I'm going to click on each line, change the temporary dimension to 2 feet, and there we go. So now what that's going to do is it's going to create a hole in my ceiling. Best way to see that is we can probably, I'm going to teach you, we talked about making 3D cameras. Let me go to my working plan and let's go to view, 3D, and let's make a camera view. Let's stand in the door and let's look at the bedroom like that. If we look over here in 3D, we've created a new view. Let's rename the view. Let's name it primary bed perspective. There we go. So now we're looking, and what we can do is let's drag this a little bit more so that we can, in fact, what you can do is just turn off the crop. Oops. Just don't crop the view. And then you can see the whole thing. And if you want to come over here and click on this little, it's called the view wheel, you can click the look button and then you can look around. But see how you can see we cut a hole in the ceiling? Well, let's go back to our ceiling plan. And let's close our inactive views so we don't have so many tabbed views at the top here. So now we need to make another ceiling to fill in that ceiling. So let's go to architectural ceiling. We'll sketch our own ceiling rectangle and we'll just make it the same size as the hole and click finish. And now, somehow, I don't know where that ceiling went. Let's undo. And it says it's going to make that generic ceiling. We want it to be our gypboard ceiling. And if the rest of the ceiling is 9 feet from finished from the main floor, we want this one to be 10 feet. Okay, now we should finish. And still not sure why it's not letting me select it. Let's look at our 3D view, primary bed perspective. Oh, you can see that it made it, so that's good. And maybe 9 feet or 10 feet too high. Let's make it 9.5 feet. So I'm going to select the ceiling and go over here to its properties and change it to be 9.5 feet. Oops. 9.5 feet off the ground. So now we've got a little bit of a pop-up in our ceiling. That's great. If we go back to our ceiling plan, I think the reason we can't select it is our view range isn't deep enough. So let's hit edit view range. And it says it's only going to the roof level. Let's go past that. Let's go 2 feet past that. Click OK. There we go. Now it pushed the depth of our view, it pushed it up a little more. So now we got our ceiling and I can select it. The other thing I want to do is let's maybe create a wall real quick. Let's go to our generic, instead of our generic 4-inch, let's go to our, what did we call our walls? Let's click on this one. We called it interior 2x4. So let's select interior 2x4. Right here. And let's just draw a wall around our ceiling like this. And now let's change its settings. Let's tab to get them all. So just so you know what I did, I hovered over one wall and I hit tab and it selects all the walls that are linked to each other. And now let's have those start 9 feet off of the main floor, and they will go also from the main floor. So the top constraint will also be main floor. Sorry. Main floor, and it'll go 9.5. So 9.5 feet from the main floor is where the top constraint is, and the bottom constraint is 9 feet off of the main floor. So now they kind of look like they disappeared, but if you go back to your 3D perspective, now you can see they just moved up to make a soffit. So now, when we look around, you can see we made a nice tray ceiling. Another design element you might want to make is little bump outs on the wall. So let's do that. Let's go to the wall command. Go to the architectural wall command, and let's do our 2x4 wall. Let's just draw 2 walls right against each other. And let's have it come out 2 feet to match the soffit. And do you see how the walls joined? Let's do another wall down here, 2 feet out, and then they join. In fact, you can even use, if you go to the modify command, you can even use the join tool to join the walls so that in floor plan they look good. So if I go back to my floor plan, the walls have been joined together. They actually look a little funny, but it's close enough for now. If you were working for me, we'd probably figure out how to make that look better, but right now that's probably good enough. So now if we go back to our primary perspective, let's maybe join, let's use the join command between the wall and the ceiling so that it puts the lines in. And if we look the other way, let's use the join command there to join the wall to the ceiling. In fact, we want to even join this wall to the ceiling. Okay, so now if I look around, now you can see I've got an accent wall that corresponds with my soffit up above. Then if we want to go a little bit further, let's use what, if you did the extra credit in the last module, you learned how to make an in-place family. So let's make an in-place family. Let's go to architectural, do the drop down on component and hit model in place. And we're going to call this, we got to pick the category for this family that we're about to create. So let's do a wall, because it's going to be our accent wall, and we'll just name it slat wall. Click OK. And now, if you watched the last video, you know how to do an extrusion. So we'll hit extrusion. We're just going to draw a rectangle like this. And let's drag it so that it is 2 inches away from the wall. Let's make it, we can keep it 4.5 inches deep is fine, and let's make it 2 inches wide, like that. So now we've got a slat. Maybe we don't want it that deep. Maybe we want it 3 inches deep. And I'm going to go to the View tab and shut off my thick lines because I don't like that. All right, so what we're doing is we're going to make a slat wall by taking a square or rectangle and extruding it from the floor to the ceiling. And we're going to copy it a bunch of times. So let's finish this like that. And it kind of disappeared. So let's hit the undo, Control Z, and let's look at the settings before we're done. So if you look over here at the settings, you can see the extrusion starts at the 0 inches off of the main level, because the work plane it's associated to is the main level. So that's good, but it's only going up 4 inches. We actually want it to go up all 9 feet from the floor to the ceiling. So let's put in 9 feet. And let's also change its material. So the material we want it to be is not countertop, but let's maybe see if there's a wood material for us. Let's call it birch. Let's just do birch. Click OK. And then we'll finish the sketch. And now you can see it's going from the floor to the ceiling. Let's look at our primary bed perspective. So now you can see we've made one of the slats. And in fact, I might, yeah, so we're good. Let's go back to our floor plan. And now let's not, we're still, we finished the extrusion, but we're still in the in-place component family. So to be done, we'd have to hit finish, but we're not finished yet. We're going to do something called an array, because we want a bunch of these and we don't want to have to sit there and copy them a lot. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click my extrusion. And if I go over here to the modify menu, there's something that looks like 3 squares or 4 squares and 3 of them are filled in. Click that button. And now you can pick your item, and before you click anything though, we're going to copy this item over to this side. And before we do that, we have to tell it, when we click to make a copy, do we want it to be the second in the array or the last in the array? So let's put last, and let's find the middle of this, and let's click over here, just estimate. And then it asks us how many do we want to make, and let's do 10 and click enter. So now it made 10. That's pretty good, but we want this one to be scooted further down like that. And now it keeps 10 in there. So if I click on any one of the array members, I can click on, it'll bring up brings up this little line with the number. You can click on the number and we could do as 20, for example. Or maybe we only want 15. 20 was pretty good. Let's do 20. So now there's 20 slats. In fact, we could even do more. Let's do 22. Let's do 24. Okay. Now it took our original extrusion and it arrayed it. So it made a copy of them, 24 copies. So now we're done with our extrusion and arrays. So let's finish the in-place family. And now if we look at our perspective, now we've got this slat wall that we can look at. There you go. You could even change the settings down here. Let's make it consistent colors. Let's show shadows. And let's turn the shadows down. Click OK. Now you can see they're even wooden slats. So now we've got our accent ceiling, we've got our accent wall, and we forgot to change the color of the carpet from green. But now you have a design element. And the cool thing is, if you go back to our enlarged plans and interior elevations, when you look in the primary bedroom, you now can see our bump outs and our slats. and you can even see them on the wall in this elevation. All right, so that is just a quick bonus tip if you want to do your own custom modeling or put in some extra design elements. You can build those into your model. And then when you go to annotate today, you could call these out. You could call out the slats here. You could call out the bump out. You could go onto your ceiling plan and call out the bump in your ceiling. So let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to see you guys do some custom things in your own model.